I don't know about you guys, but when I've been at any other all-inclusive resort, it's just like boom, 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 here you go. Like, you don't have to wait for anything. That's just been probably the weirdest thing about this place so far. We are staying at Hacienda Encantada Resort. This is in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. If you're someone who is expecting an Iberostar property or like Sandals Resorts or Secrets, if you're used to that type of all-inclusive, you're definitely not gonna like this spot. Let me show you why. Let's go take a tour of the property. We recently booked a 7-day all-inclusive vacation here in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, which is on the southern tip of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula. Since we had never been to Los Cabos before, I spent weeks researching which resort we should stay at, and this one consistently showed up with 5-star reviews at a reasonable price. But after our very bizarre and disappointing stay, I really felt the need to let you know about our experience and what you should expect if you're thinking about staying here. The Hacienda Encantada Resort and Residences is a 4-star hotel located 10 minutes from Cabo San Lucas and 30 minutes from the airport. Upon arrival, I was really impressed and excited. The traditional Mexican architecture was colorful and welcoming, and my initial impressions of the property grounds were spectacular. Everything was very well manicured and lots of greenery among the desert landscape. However, the check-in process was perfectly unremarkable. We pulled up to this beautiful concierge area, which you can see here, but it turns out this is for a separate resort called the Vista. So we were whisked away to this comparatively lackluster check-in room, which is very confusing upon arrival. Every time I've checked in at an all-inclusive, the staff are so cheerful and happy that you've arrived. But not here. There's usually a welcome drink and a detailed explanation of the resort and its amenities. Not here. No welcome drink and no information about the resort itself or its amenities. After already shelling out thousands of dollars for this week, we were asked if we wanted to upgrade to a premium level of all-inclusive. We felt that because we opted out of the premium option, we were somehow in this rare lower class tier of guests because it seemed like more than half of what should be all-included in the all-inclusive amenities were unavailable because we didn't upgrade. This felt so strange because every all-inclusive we've ever stayed at is all-inclusive by definition, meaning you have access to everything. It was also immediately obvious that this is a timeshare property, of which this is nothing new for resorts nowadays, and we're used to this. But all week we felt like lower-class citizens at the resort because we weren't timeshare members. I've never felt this way at any other resort. Before we get to the bad, I will say the rooms were spacious with authentic decor. There's a small minibar, coffee area, and desk before walking into the main room. We had a king bed, a seating area, and an ocean view balcony, with sweeping views of the resort and the ocean. I also appreciated the full-length mirror, and the bathroom was spacious. A small but disappointing detail worth noting is that housekeeping made no effort to go above and beyond the most basic service. Every other all-inclusive we've been to, they'll always do something unique to put a smile on your face, or make your stay extra warm, especially after you leave a tip. They'll fold the towels into cute little swans or other animals, fold your laundry, organize your nightstand, hang up your hats, etc. It's not the biggest deal, but this is another reason why I would not recommend this place to someone staying at an all-inclusive for the first time. Those little details just make your stay that much more special. Another thing is that you have to pay for housekeeping. So it's only $2.50 a day, but even though it's all-inclusive, you still have to pay for housekeeping every day. Kinda weird. On our first day of arrival, since it was only 6 p.m., we decided to head to the adult-only pool to unwind, only to find it was closed 3 minutes before we showed up. Once again, at any other resort we've been to, I've never seen an adult-only pool close before 8 or 10 p.m. But the pools are the saving grace at this resort, so I'll start with some of the good things. So the one thing I do love about this resort is that every pool has a swim-up bar. So this is one of 3 main pools. They all have a swim-up bar. They're really big. There's lots of space for everyone. And we haven't had to come down early to get a chair. Sometimes we show up at the pool at like 10. Sometimes we show up at noon, and there's always space for everyone. We love that the resort did have an adult-only pool, and this one had the only views of the beach from the infinity pool. While you can't swim in the ocean, the view is incredible, especially from this pool. However, they reserve the closest room building to the adult-only pool for timeshare-only guests. Oddly, there are these gorgeous cabana loungers overlooking the water, but again, only timeshare members could use these. And in the 7 days that we were there, we only saw 1 person occupying these spots. Otherwise, they sat empty for the entire week. There's also a restaurant attached to each pool, and they will even serve your food while you're in the water. Of course, there is shaded table seating as well, but we did appreciate a quick bite when needed. And one night, we were able to snag this table within the pool where we were served dinner beneath the sunset. But this is where it starts to get weird. So the weird thing about this place is that you have to sign for absolutely everything. So like you get a can of beer, you get a bottle of water, you get your towel, the breakfast buffet, dinner, all that. You have to sign a check. Now, it is all included, but the worst part is that it just takes so much longer because you gotta wait for your bill. The servers are rushing around trying to get checks ready to go. It just makes everything take super long. And I don't know about you guys, but when I've been at any other all-inclusive resort, it's just like boom, 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 here you go. Like you don't have to wait for anything. That's just been probably the weirdest thing about this place so far. So yes, even though you wear a wristband, after every drink and food item you order, you have to sign a check. Even when you ask for 1 bottle of water. The check is a detailed list of everything, including the cost. To me, this completely took away from the unique experience of an all-inclusive resort. You're supposed to feel like you can get anything you want at any time, and the resort exists to provide you with anything you could possibly need. It's supposed to feel like everything is free of charge, even though you've already prepaid for everything. Also, room service is not included in the all-inclusive plan. So if you've ever stayed at Iberostar properties or Secrets Resorts or Excellence Resorts, room service is one of the huge benefits of buying the all-inclusive package. Not like we order it all the time, but it's kind of nice because at home it's always too expensive to get room service at a hotel. So you're splurging on the all-inclusive package, room service should be included. But here's the kicker. It's $15 to get it delivered to your room every single time. Whether you have the regular all-inclusive or the premium, it's gonna cost you $15 to get it delivered. Just seems a little bit weird. We've always had room service included at an all-inclusive resort. There's nowhere where you can just like walk around in the morning, grab a cup of coffee. There's no self-serve coffee stations. I've stayed at dozens of all-inclusive resorts, and that is basically pretty standard. There's always something like that available. This is the first resort that I've stayed at that's never had that. There is a coffee shop with Starbucks coffee, but that's not included in the all-inclusive plan. A little disappointed in that. The lack of water available was a major health and safety concern. On this day, we returned to our room to find they hadn't restocked our water. It's 10:40 at night and we have 0 waters. Because all the bars and restaurants were closed, we had to have housekeeping deliver it for us, which took way too long. It's been 35 minutes and we still can't get water. We have our fridge filled every day with about 4 or 5 bottles of water, but we go through those pretty quickly. It's hot, we want to drink lots of water while we're here, and I feel like everywhere else I've stayed, you can just go find a water station within 20 steps of your room. We have to walk about 5 or 6 minutes to the front desk concierge area just to get a bottle of water. Seems kind of weird that this is the only place that doesn't have that available. It shouldn't be that difficult to get water around here.
Okay, now let's get to the food. The food was surprisingly good when we could get it. We continuously had to deal with restaurants closing earlier than they were supposed to. A restaurant that was supposed to be open until 5 p.m. told us they were already closed when we arrived at 4:15. One restaurant we had a reservation for closed the kitchen before we were able to order dessert without informing us ahead of time. We were also refused entry without a reservation, even though we were either the only table or one of 2 tables that occupied the entire restaurant. We made our dinner reservations on our first morning, and the earliest we could be seated all week was either 8 or 9 p.m. As we walked by the restaurants around 6 or 7 each night, they were completely empty or had 1 or 2 tables. Which we later found out the resort reserves these prime time slots for, you guessed it, timeshare guests only. As far as the food we were able to enjoy, the breakfast buffet did have a really nice selection each morning, with a lovely outside dining area in view. But again, the service is very slow and you're not allowed to leave without signing your check, and that takes a solid 10 or 15 minutes to get when you're ready to be done with breakfast and just go hang out by the pool. You still have to wait for this damn check. For dinner, the a la carte restaurants did have a nice variety. We enjoyed Italian, gourmet Mexican, local Baja cuisine and seafood, and Il Forno pizza. At the Italian restaurant, we enjoyed a nice selection of prosciutto and melon, Mediterranean carpaccio and calamari, lots of pastas and risotto. At La Trajinera, for local Baja cuisine and seafood, we tried the guacamole with pork rinds. This was scallops with avocado mousse, and then ceviche tostada. This is tortilla soup, which did have a nice presentation. This was a Mexican steak with a mole enchilada with rice and beans and poblano peppers. And this is tuna carnitas, beef fillet, and lobster. Moving on to Los Ricos, which serves Mexican specialties, we tried the clam chowder, which was good, but completely different from the clam chowder we had at the same restaurant a few nights earlier. As you can see here, the soup we had earlier had clams and looked and tasted completely different from the same restaurant. And this was dinner at Il Forno, which is casual Italian served by the pool. We had pizza and salads. It is worth noting that the desserts were very underwhelming. They were dry, mild in taste, and nowhere near as good as the appetizers and entrees. We also enjoyed lunches by the pool served from the El Patio snack bar, where we tried salads, BLTs, coconut shrimp, club sandwich, quesadillas, ceviche, and a shrimp wrap. As far as drinks go, we did like the drinks at this resort and enjoyed the unique selection of frozen and blended cocktails. I do have a full video of some of our favorites that we ordered here. Another plus was that they had canned beer instead of draft, and you were able to order a bucket with ice to keep it nice and cold. Unfortunately, service to get drinks was always very slow due to having to sign a check after every single drink. The resort itself is quite spread out, with lots of distance between room buildings, restaurants, pools, and the front lobby. They offer golf carts to transport guests around the property, which is fine, but it was painful trying to get a golf cart unless we got lucky with timing. And the driver is also expected to tip after each ride. Now, I have no problem tipping, but if you take a cart several times a day, that adds up really fast. That aside, my biggest issue is that I always prefer to walk. I enjoy staying at large resorts because it gives me an opportunity to take a nice morning walk or a sunset stroll. The problem at Hacienda Encantada is that the property is not designed to be walkable. There are very few pedestrian paths, so when you do want to walk, it's on the road with service vehicles and golf carts zipping by. If you're someone who doesn't want to walk at all, this is obviously not going to be an issue for you. But if you like morning walks and you want to get your steps in between margaritas, you can't really do that here. As far as other amenities, there are pickleball courts and basketball courts, as well as a beach volleyball area and a small chipping and putting area. There is a fitness center with a variety of gym equipment, and it was actually very nice. Everything seemed brand new. It's air conditioned and there's massive windows with nice views. There's also a temazcal, which is a traditional steam hut ceremony, but I think it's only offered once per week, and none of the staff that we spoke to knew anything about it. So we didn't get the chance to try it, nor did we see it being used the entire time we were there. There's also no traditional pool activities that you might expect at a normal all-inclusive resort, so you won't find pool volleyball, water aerobics, Zumba, or salsa lessons by the pool. There is a small kids pool though, with some splash park features. If you're part of the all-inclusive plan, you can take a free shuttle to the marina in Cabo San Lucas. This is of course after you wait in line at Starbucks to get a ticket, which took forever. Even though we were wearing the all-inclusive wristbands, you still have to get a ticket and reserve a spot on the bus. When it comes to nightlife, as I mentioned earlier, all the restaurants close at 10 p.m. and there's only one lobby bar which also closes at 10. So in regards to nightlife, it's non-existent here. You can't even have an evening nightcap. Again, every all-inclusive we've been to has some level of nighttime entertainment, a discotheque or sports bar where people can grab a drink and find some finger food or late-night snacks. We did stumble upon live music one night, which was phenomenal, but this wasn't advertised anywhere, which is why I think we were the only people enjoying it that night.
So now that we've kind of gone over all the pros and cons of this place, I think there are certain people that will really enjoy this resort, and I think there are certain people that will absolutely not enjoy this resort. If you just want to come here for 4 or 5 days, get up early, go to bed early, you don't care about room service, the signing for everything doesn't bother you, if you want to be in bed by like 9:30, this place might be good for you. You might enjoy that. If you're used to having everything available at your fingertips, you know, it's like, we go to all-inclusive resorts because we want to splurge for a week. We pay a lot of money to be here, right? It's not cheap. So if you want anything available for that 7 days out of the year, where it's your one vacation, you're definitely not going to like this place. So what do you think about this place, you guys? Would you stay here? Would you absolutely stay away from here? Let me know in the comments. Am I totally out to lunch on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Thanks for watching. And let me know where you think I should go next.